Hello, everyone. Welcome again to another edition of Find Ways to Win. I am your host, FitzgeraldStephens. Hope you guys are having a great day, and I hope you're living what you plan for, you visualize, and certainly what you're working for. I want to talk to you guys briefly about a subject called how to have skill with people. How to have skill with people. Now, often in my many years of experience and working with sales and marketing and just dealing with people in general, I've have made my living by communicating. I find that some of the number one thing that I hear over and over at people is like they don't feel like they're being listened to. They don't feel like their opinion matters. They're talking, but somehow the misunderstanding is coming through in such a negative way. They feel frustrated. They feel like they didn't not heard, and sometimes they just even feel like, what's the use? I'll just give up. Communication is the lifeblood of all relationships. So how do we develop? How do we develop communication? How do we get our people skills up and right and having those where people really feel not just listened to, but they really feel that you actually hear them. One of the terms they would say, "Hey, you feel me?" That's just like, "Hey, are you connected with me?" Well, let's talk about that a little bit. And so, if you're gonna develop skill with people, you have to follow a few steps that I think that I think you should employ immediately, and I think it's going to yield immediate results. You know, based on how it's been working for me and many others that I learned it from. Number one, you have to make smile. You must smile when you're looking at someone or when you're getting ready to speak to someone. You have to smile. Now, what is the important? What is the importance of smiling? And what is the importance of not only smiling but body language? Number one, if a person is going to hear you, you have to make them comfortable talking to you. You have to make them comfortable, and we know that so much of our communication is communicated non-verbally. So how your voice reflects, how your body movements are, or how are you standing at a at almost a combative posture without even realizing, is your tone one of dismissiveness, or let's get to the point real quick, or I got something to do, or are you looking at your watch or your cell phone while you're getting ready to talk to someone? More importantly, someone get ready to talk to you. You must make people feel comfortable if they're going to come to you, and if you're going to definitely communicate with them. As a matter of fact, if they're not comfortable and you don't sense the ice being broken in the room, you don't sense there's a clean, pure, unhindered atmosphere. Don't even say what's on your mind, because they won't hear you. They're not prepared. So you have to prepare your guests or your audience in a way to get it, that you got something to say, and they feel good about listening to you or talking to you. Number two, you must listen attentively. Not just listen, but listen attentively. But ladies and gentlemen, people need to be listened to like they need to be there. They need to feel like they're really being heard, that they're really being connected to, that someone values their opinion. And you have to listen. Listen, miscommunication has destroyed many a great relationships. It's destroyed many a companies. It's destroyed many endeavors because the person just refused to listen. They already had a preconceived notion of what event they thought was going to be the outcome, or worse yet, they cut a person off because I get what you're saying, and I understand, and they don't even allow you to speak. I had that happen to me just recently with a supervisor. I was communicating this particular individual, and I wanted to explain something, and when I got to speaking, she said, yeah. And with my type of personality, I took, that didn't click with me the right way, and I certainly have the ability to let people know if you're not dealing with me properly or respectful. So I simply said to her in a monotone voice, "Are you ready to hear what I have to say?" So it was solely something different than what this individual thought. And so sometimes you have to do that. You just can't walk away frustrated. You just can't walk away and say, well, they don't listen to they're not going to listen to me anyway. Hey, your energy introduces you. I did a video about that, and you might want to go ahead and listen to that again. Your energy introduces you. If someone cuts you off, hey, politely, not politely, but interject into them and say, hey, are you ready to listen? Or you just got your own mind made up of what I'm have to say. However you choose to handle it. Listen attentively with precision focus, looking that person in the eye, and you're communicating them that I am 100% focused on hearing you, listening to you. And I'm gonna do my darndest to understand what you say. Now, number three could also go along with this. I could have made this right a part of number two. But when someone is talking to you, when someone is speaking to you, I don't care how much you want to. I don't care how good it feels. I don't care, how it's just screaming to get out. Do not interrupt your guest or your audience while they are speaking to you. It is highly offensive. Do not interrupt your audience or your guests while they are speaking to you, because that is communicating to them right then and there that their opinion simply doesn't count. And it's also communicating arrogance on your part, like, hey, I got all the answers. I'm the answer man. And you don't need to worry about talking to me. I already done figured it out before you open your mouth. Highly disrespectful. And you can't do that. You dare not do that. And if you find yourself doing that because you get excited, you think that like you can really jump in and help. Let them finish talking. Let them finish talking. Now, and after they finish talking, you repeat it back to them the way you heard it. Very important. You repeat it back to them the way you heard it, because sometimes you could be missing a little tad bit of information that could change the whole meaning of the communication. And so you have to repeat back to them. So what you're saying is, and you repeat the way you understand it. That allows you to work out any of the kinks and the knots in the communication, that you can get those ironed out and proceed forward. Now, if you're gonna develop that, you got to learn how to control your emotions. Because so much a human being just wants to talk, especially like husband and wife relationships, parents with children, employees, employers, especially those who are in a supervisory role. I don't believe in the term of my superior. That title only belongs to the Most High. So I don't believe addressing a man like that. I don't think of a man or a woman as my superior. That doesn't work to me. That's another story. Number four, thank them for talking to you. Thank them for talking to you, or thank them for listening to you if you are doing the one speaking. And very, very important, if you are talking like one-on-one or small groups, ensure them that you will not betray their trust. You will not betray their trust. What do you mean? My business is not necessarily your friend's business, and vice versa. My business is not your wife's business. If I'm saying something to you, if I'm depending on the sphere, if it's super private, or I don't want you communicating what I have said to you to others. That's one of the things I love about the legal profession or the medical profession. They can't just disclose your information to anyone without your permission. It's client privilege. And that is very, very important. As a matter of fact, strong repercussions can come to that individual who does betray that person's trust without their permission. So you have to really, really assure the people that you're not going to betray their trust. You make them feel safe. vital. And and you're talking to a large group. Obviously, the setting can be somewhat different. If you're talking to a massive group like 500 to 1,000, or a semi-medium group like 50 to 300. The rules can somewhat be a little different. But if the smaller the group becomes, the more there needs to be a conveying that privacy and trust will be respected, and betrayal will be dealt with harshly. You have to give your people, you have to give your guests that feeling, because if you betray that one time and you only get one time with it, they're not going to see you the same. They're not going to see you as someone worthy of speaking their heart to. No, and finally, we want to get to taking action. That's number 5, taking action and following up. Okay, if you heard me, you're gonna do what I say to do. If I heard you, I'm gonna do what you say to do. For example, if you have a mentor, and I believe in mentors in many areas of life: wealth, health, mental makeup. I believe in and believe all in all that. There are certain people who have especially something that you need, and you need the whole. Rarely you're going to find that all wrapped up in one individual. However, they are there, but they're extremely rare. You got it. So you're going to take action on what they said to do, or you're going to, and then finally or not finally, and you're going to follow up. You're going to follow up. You're going to track your progress. You see how am I doing? Am I connecting? Did we complete this the way you said? Did we get the point over? Well, the point will easily be understood if the instructions are followed. Then you can find out, maybe you need to tweak it somewhere. Maybe you become more effective in just making a couple of steps. But understand this: people want to be heard. I mean, it's so vital that people feel listened to. I mean, many of divorces could be prevented if a person felt they was listened to, they was heard by their significant others. A child wouldn't have ran away from home if they felt they had someone to listen. Understand something. Especially when it comes to very close relationships. If you are not listening, if you're not developing that skill with people by listening, they are going to find someone else who will listen, and sometimes disastrous results can come from that. So you want to make sure you're developing skills with people, and skill with people is properly knowing how to communicate, properly knowing how to listen. Make them feel at ease talking to you. Make them feel grateful that they came to you. Give them a safe space. Give them a plan of action that is going to really supplement what they're trying to do. Listen more than you talk. Listen more than you talk. Now you can ask questions. You're asking questions to make sure you're conveying the understanding that you are hearing them, and hearing is synonymous with understanding. And so, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in. Certainly appreciate you guys. I thank you, the new subscribers and the continued subscribers. Those of you who share these streams, and those of you who are coming on and leaving your comments and notes. I'm making my business to read them all, and definitely respond to them all. On my way to 1 million subscribers. Too much in the future. I'm not much in the future. Rather, I'm speaking, and I believe it's going to happen. But we appreciate you guys. And often with changes in your life, it's not a huge thing for the time that you got to really change. A lot of people think they got to make a huge change, and a few of those people do have to make a hard correction. But most people they just need to change just a few key things, or maybe one thing, to yield tremendous results. My father, who is an ex-military man, he loves military histories. He loves weapons, and the understanding of them, and strategy, and things like that. He taught me, if a gunner fires his gun and he's off by just 3 degrees. 3 degrees. He can actually cause disaster, and he can hit something that he never intended to hit, but he certainly won't hit what he's trying to hit. Just by 3 degrees. Some of us off just like that 3 degrees. We have a body language that speaks like I don't want to have skill with people. We have a tone that conveys I'm better than you, or I'm angry, or hurry up and let's get this over with. I got to watch the hockey game or whatever I have to do. And those are disarming people by making them not feel comfortable to even hear what you have to say. And as a bonus, I can also throw in, after take action, I can also put in, you have to choose the right time to talk to someone. You have to choose the right time, especially if you're talking. Now, if they're listening, if they're in listening to you, you got to make sure you're in the right time. You might tell them, hey, it's not a good time right now, but let's schedule this just a little bit short, a little bit later on. I have something to work out. Well, that working out, maybe you need to get your mental mind frame right. Maybe you need to put out one of these fires with your children, or with your spouse, or on the job. And so you're not in a proper mental mindset to fully listening, because you're going to be thinking about that other thing while they're talking, and then you're going to defeat yourself with that. And so let's make sure that we're making these little subtle changes. We're reading, and we're getting around people who are great speakers, and we're listening to their styles, and we're picking up their hints. One of the books I recommend you read is Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. The book is well over 100 years old, but it's really kind of like the best of its kind. I've owned the book 4 times. It never leaves my vehicle right now. And so that gives you skills on how to deal with people. And the book is so simple, anyone can do the concepts, but you want to make them a habit. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you guys for tuning in. Have a wonderful, glorious day. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing this, for your comments. We appreciate it. Keep them coming. And thank you so much for helping me grow this channel. Please hit that like and subscribe. We appreciate you. Overall, have a wonderful, wonderful, and glorious day.